Okay, let's talk about Beethoven. Beethoven is a genius. Many consider him the GOAT for very, very good reason. I mean, the guy was very far ahead of his time, but his life was like a real live depiction of 2020. His childhood was terrible. His father was crazy. He was an alcoholic, beat him constantly, would sometimes wake him up in the middle of the night to play music. Just to play music. Why? And later on in life, he would become deaf. Like death. Bruh. Sucks. As a result of these hardships, Beethoven, he was kind of a dick. He went on to be with the Lord in 1827. But not before creating this absolute gem of a piece called Fur Elise, or For Elise. Now, originally, the song was supposed to be called For Therese. I cannot pronounce this old lady's name. We're gonna call her Trey Trey. Something happened. The original title got lost in transcription, and it came out as For Elise. Rumor also has it that Trey Trey had a whole baby and was married, but that is tea for later on. Now, I don't claim to know what the average woman in the 1800s looked like, but for a guy like Beethoven, who probably didn't like people at all, to write a piece of music for just you, and you already got a man, you must have been bad, period. I'm talking corset snatched, opinions and emotions on mute, edges laid like fresh cobwebs. Trey Trey, however, didn't love him in that way. Just hate to see it. But clearly, in order for Beethoven to take the time to write this, he didn't care. Bro was gonna shoot his shot anyway. Kobe. Actually, he missed. Now, before I start, let's remember what we now already know. Beethoven is a grouch. How grouchy was he? Beethoven was such a grouch, he made Ebenezer Scrooge look like Bob freaking Ross. Beethoven was such a grouch. His baloney had a first name, and his name was F you. I can only imagine how awkward it would have been for a guy like him to approach any woman. So he did what any genius would do, and he channeled his social ineptitude into art. Can't wait. Okay, so what you'll learn playing music like this is the composers are really, really good in leaving hints as to how they want the piece conveyed. And the beginning of this piece is actually really, really quiet. And it makes sense because the notes are sweet. That's sweet. That's delicate. That's pretty. So here I'm sort of envisioning Beethoven knocking on her door, maybe for the first time. Something like this isn't going to be easy for him. So it's not ding dong, ding. It's there's dissonance there. There's a little instability and insecurity there. So it's, I am Beethoven and I'm a little bit weird, but I'm shooting my shot. Your hair looks nice. Who did your weave? The thing I want to point out, especially for those who are following, these are 16th notes. And classical music gives you reasonable flexibility. So the reason I'm not playing them straight up and down is because it's a part of my story. It's the beginning of whatever this relationship is going to turn into. That's why I'm playing with the tempo. It's cool to do that, but don't do it all the time. Don't overdo it. Do it when it sounds right. Do it when it makes sense. But as I go along with the theme, you'll notice that the 16th notes will actually become more stable as I go along, or as Beethoven and Elise become better acquainted and more comfortable with one another. Okay, so last thing I really want to point out, pedal. So the way it's written, the pedal comes in when the left hand comes in. So it sounds like this. This is the way it's written. Pedal. Fine. If you want to play it that way, that's totally street legal. What you don't want to do is say, oh, it's supposed to be silky smooth and soft and sultry and lovey and blah, 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 and make it sticky, icky, woot, woot. So what does that mean? You're putting a bunch of sounds in the air and you're not giving anything a chance to land, really making room for the next note to shine. So it just ends up sounding like Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Sunkissed, and McDonald's sweet tea mixed. This is what you don't want. Hear it? Nah. What I do is a mix of both. Your ear will let you know what's clean and what's not. And when there's flexibility available, you'll take it. And even though I, for the most part, can do what I want my ears to hear with my hands, I still have to ask people, like, is this clean? Is this pretty, but is this clean? So this is what I do. It's not going to be too mushy, but it's not going to be too dry at the same time. All right, so here is the main theme played in the style of Chastity Sinatra. My way. All right, Beethoven shoots his shot in 3, 2. There we have it. So that was the main theme. Right now in our story, Beethoven and Elise are acquainted. They seem to be hitting it off. He shot his shot. It circled around the rim a little bit, but she seemed to be receptive. Okay, guys, confession. I wasn't actually reading any music. I do know this song by memory, so if I shortened it, you get the gist. Will they take a carriage off into the sunset, or will Beethoven blow it like the Warriors without KD, like LeBron James' hairline, like KD's hairline? I don't know.
Yes, I do.
No, I don't.
Yes, she does.
But you should find out. Those of you with the music, follow along. For those of y'all without the music, I hope you enjoyed it. All right, thanks for hanging out.